Hello everyone, this is Youth the Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. As you can see, this week was pretty much a breeze. Of course, we're just getting back up to Vault, so generally the matches aren't as difficult, but we had some interesting matches, and surprisingly not too many defense matches this week. I say it's surprising we don't have many defense matches this week, but it's kind of not surprising as well. Definitely makes sense, 10 out of 10, because since we're in Vault, or non-Vault, we start out in tier 23 and we climb pretty quickly for our team, because especially since we had Ash bonus, so our team was going, what was that, plus 1 something, plus 198 or something? I don't remember off the top of my head, but because of that, we advanced the tiers up pretty quickly, and I believe you can only get matched up with people in your tier or one tier above or below. So if you climb too fast, people can't get matched up with you, and so the only way you would reasonably get defense matches more is from rematches. But we didn't get too many rematches this week. Might also notice that they probably mistapped there. I don't think they meant to put in Fafnir, but I guess it didn't really matter at the end of the day because Brave Dimitri is unable to counterattack Legendary Lyn, and, well, his res is not very high, so even though he has damage reduction, he can't handle Mills. But yeah, we decided to keep Sophus this week just for score botting. Figured there's no real point in having a second Bramon. It would give our units extra attack, which is probably relevant, but yeah, we're not gonna bother with the small optimization. But yeah, the extra +3 attack across the board would be, except on not in Bramon, of course, would be quite useful. Probably much more useful than the +5 res. Because most of the time the +5 res isn't going to allow any of our units to dodge like Milla's sabotage attack, for example, or like a Tethys running, I don't know, Phantom res with Tamari plus, or even Air running Tamari plus. So here, Legendary Marth unable to take out Seliph, so he feels the wrath of Ignis. And well, Sophus is going to do Sophus things and die in one round even with Miracle. She just takes too much damage even without a special. Attack defense unity may or may not be helping out here. But she does do an extra 14 damage thanks to Miracle. So that's something. And because of that extra damage, Nils gets to go to town and pick up the exact one-shot. Otherwise he would have gotten one shot on the counter there because she was going to be proccing a big fat bonfire. But that's it for Nils' 2-kill streak. You don't see Nils picking up kills too often, but you know, he does attack res. She's blue, I guess. I don't think that's actually relevant. But here, Seliph is going after Peony, and so he's going to pick up the 2-shot, which is convenient for Seliph, because now that sets up Ignis to be proccable whenever Seliph goes in for... or Seliph gets attacked by Dagger, but he got debuffed by the infantry school as well here, so nowhere near close to one-shotting, and so that's just a rip for Seliph, but Sylvia's there to clean up, so ripperoonies. Biggest thing with Dagger though is her HP threshold. Her weapon just exactly like Not. The 25% HP threshold is pretty oof, especially when you're a mythic with few ways to actually buff your HP. And also, healing is not always readily available unless you literally bring a healer, or you have healing tower like this person is running. But yeah, it's definitely a problem. It's less of a problem for Not and more for Dagger, because Dagger has essentially the unity effect with her weapon. So she wants to get a lot of debuffs on her via like Bright Shrine or something to get more stats that way. But the problem is when she's out of her HP threshold, she's just debuffed. So that's not great. Whereas for Not, she has bonus doubler. So when she's like our Not here at 1 HP, unable to proc her weapons effect, she just misses out on stats. That's all. She doesn't lose a ton of stats because, well, she loses a ton of stats technically, but it's better than being ultra debuffed. But yeah, the other thing with Dagger and Not is their B skills also have HP threshold. It's just super wacky. For Not, you know, having her actual combat gimmicks tied to HP threshold. Just oof. Same for Dagger, but I don't have Dagger yet, so I don't know the pains of being below 25% HP on her yet. Definitely have used Not's HP thresholds against her plenty of times against people's defenses, but yeah, we're just gonna get walled by Fallen Edelgard here. In general, this team just gets walled by a bunch of reasonable tanks. You don't have to be ultra tanky. Half the time you don't even need to be able to heal. You just need to do a decent amount of damage or just survive. Because most of our damage output comes in the form of specials, so that doesn't bode very well. Legendary Lin also preventing counterattacks can be detrimental to us because they can just choose to leave Legendary Lin alive, for example, and then just pick up ether structures. Although we kind of skip the ether structures for free on this layout, so that's not too big of a deal. But the more pressing problem about this defense is how easy it is to isolate, because you can literally isolate every single unit on this team. And so that's why we run the double dancers, besides the fact we are running infantry pulse in such a way where Zealous can get 2 cooldown Ignis. It's just a huge problem. Of course, when people don't bring don't bring Milla, things still aren't great for us, but here they're just going to use Atri to pick up the kill on Not. Speaking of Atri and Summoner duels, I had a funny match today where someone didn't realize, or they probably just didn't remember, that Atri's Canto only works for turns 1 through 4. So on turn 5, they thought they could hit and run, but they couldn't, so it was kind of awkward. Yeah, but in Ether raids, that Canto turn limit is also a pretty big issue. Especially for strategies like mine, especially during Astra season, because typically we do rely on Bolt Tower a ton. Bolt Tower only goes off on turn 3. So for these turn 1 through 4 Canto users, you only get turn 3 and turn 4 to use it, which is kind of a problem, especially on a lot of defenses, but Hierosophus, of course, is going to be doing nothing relevant here. Debuffed by Infantry School, debuffed by Atri's Kit. Yeah, she's not going to be doing a lot of damage. And there's Ruptured Sky on top of it, which is anti-synergy from debuffing all that attack, but it doesn't matter, of course. Still a kill regardless. But you know what's the problem here is they left Ash in range. And both dancers are ready to dance. So we have a problem where Bramon is just going to go on a rampage here. Because of course Nils is going to dance. It doesn't matter who dances first because both of them are going to get the dance here. But I guess if we wanted debuffs, then it would be better for Nils to dance second. But there's already debuffs on the relevant units that Bramamon wants to go after anyways. So it's just a rampage for Bramamon. Triple kill, and well, they can probably still win at this point because of A-Tree, but with her damage reduction from Divine Recreation. But, you know, and it's not a great score to bring.
You shouldn't get in my way.
And well, there we go. Kill on Bramamon, and then they can just Kanto to attack Sylvia. They barely pick up the 1-round KO here. Essentially exact lethal, because we have an odd amount of HP, which is unfortunate for us, but that's what happens when you don't put in max Dragon Flowers into Sylvia. Again, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because there would just be 2 dancers left regardless, and they can just hit and run all they like. And here we are with Legendary Lucina and company. Of course, Legendary Lucina with her Remix and Refine is definitely better than she used to be. But at the end of the day, she still feels like more of a support unit more than an offensive unit. She does have access to that guaranteed follow-up attack with Future Vision 2, but the problem is you have to use your Future Vision 2 to get it, which might sound like a might not sound like a problem, but from my experience of using Legendary Lucina, and especially Legendary Chrom a lot with Change Fate, it is a big deal needing to use your assist to actually get the effect you want. So for like Legendary Chrom, I would use the Change Fate to get the +6 attack field buff. But yeah, not a good spot for them to be in here once Legendary Mark goes down. But there's no more follow-up there, so they can keep going here, but they just surrender probably because they lost units. And here we are with an Ascended P-Arm, and we all know how well Ascended P-Arm does against our defense. Granted, though, they do have Column 4 Bolt Tower, so we'll see how things go here. Because if you're not familiar, we have this B skill on Nils called Even Pulse Tie. And Ascended P-Arm is the only unit on their team with a special ready to go, so if they don't bait turn 1, their Ice Mirror is going away, which is not great for them here. In fact, they're taking more time to set up here. So that's just no special for them. But again, they do get the Bolt Tower damage. They test the Bolt Trap here, and they have their Healing Tower, so they're essentially just wasted a turn there. Not entirely sure why they decided to heal up Celica, because typically you want to set her up, but I guess whatever works. Sothis is of course at a whopping 1 HP here. The Miracle isn't going to do anything, and so Legendary Byleth going to take her out. At least we get the 20 chip in, but that's about it. Ruptured Sky, going to do a decent amount, but again, Sothis doesn't have a very high attack stat, but Ruptured Sky still doesn't do a lot, even though it's 40% scaling. And here again, Ascended P-Arm no longer has the Ice Mirror up, so it's just a one-shot for Bramamon. Although it is a pretty close margin. He is +10, he is bonus, and he barely picked up the kill there, so that's, you know, worrisome. But that's what you get for running, whatchamacallit. That's what you get for running stuff like Wings of Mercy, Quick and Pulse Steel. Or we don't run Quick and Pulse Steel, actually, we run Hardy Bearing. Not entirely sure how much the Hardy Bearing is deterring people from actually bringing in Vantage teams, but we don't see very much advantage nowadays. People just try to tank or hit and run out of defense. So, not too big of a deal. Here, Dusel is unable to double Bramamon because he's adjacent to Dagger, so his weapon effects aren't going off, which is kind of a problem. So Baramon's just going to clean up.
I have fulfilled my service.
And we get the dance. Go on Celica here. Just a clean one shot. None bulk to oppose bonus Bramon. And in classic Zelda fashion, he misses to kill again. 10 out of 10. Pretty strong Dragon Fang there. But of course he's already weakened Dagger enough for Sylvia to just pick up the kill. So Ripperonis. And here we are with Save Team from the looks of it. There's Nino here, it looks like Far Save. Near Save Hector. A good old original Hector. Running Berserk Armads, which is definitely not a terrible idea. Of course, the point of Berserk Armads is you want to just keep spamming specials out, because you can get extra damage, and you can also heal 30% of your max HP. Of course, the problem comes in when you're up against like Fatal Smoke, or you just take too much damage that even healing 30% of your max HP isn't enough. But here, they have this problem where Legendary Lyn kind of ignores Flame. So that's just a clean one shot with Luna. But as you can see, Lyn was too slow to even double there, which is minus speed in a nutshell. Don't actually know how much speed you need to double there. But now we can just start sweeping. Baramon's can only attack Uller in that instance, so pretty straightforward kill.
My duty remains.
Pretty much don't see Uller running around unless you bonus. It's because having a slot on your team dedicated to just basically being a blue ranged nuke is not great. But it's fine if you're running more than one team like I'm not. Because when you're running just one team like I am, you really can't afford to have dead slots. Then again, half my team is basically a dead slot on offense. Here we are with a few plus 10 units here. Pretty sure this person's going to plus 10 Yanfei when it's an option. I'm considering it for sure just because I don't build a lot of red units, and he's decent as a red free-to-play unit. The one thing that's going to forever irk me about Yanfei though is needing to be not adjacent to allies to get the damage reduction. That is a much larger problem than people make it out to be, but it'll become more apparent I guess as time keeps going on. They're just going to charge straight in here, and so even though Stealth's going to proc Ignis here, it's not going to do too much damage just because Fallen Edelgard is more invested into defense. She actually barely one-shots Bramon here. Granted, it is bonus Bramon, and he's nearly maxed out. He still needs 5 Dragon Flowers. So, you know, had I given him the 5 Dragon Flowers, he would have survived there. And that could have been relevant, perhaps. Not entirely sure. You do a decent amount of damage here with Luna, of course, because it's Luna. I think it would have been pretty reasonable for us to be able to take out Fallen Edelgard if she missed that kill there on Bramon. But you know, that's not how it went, so unfortunate. And of course they have Column 2 Bolt Power, which is pretty darn rare. You don't see that too often. There's a few save balls and things biased on the left side of the map where it would be useful, but I think the main purpose nowadays of having your Volt Tower on not column 3 or 4 is just either to keep those columns open for positioning reasons, or you just don't want to get it sniped down by catapults, which typically there are a few catapults that show up on column 2, but it's pretty rare, in my experience at least. But here, of course, Nils isn't going to be doing anything except getting rid of her damage reduction, and of course she can't kill here, but neither can any of our units, so it's not going to matter. Mystic boost, and we don't have anything like Fatal Smoke here. Healing 13 points every combat is definitely super strong. And well, Mill is just going to take out Nils here, probably farming some SP. And Fallen Edelgard doing a nice amount of damage at the end here to finish the match. Last but not least, here we are with yet another save team. High level healing tower. Pretty decent merges there. No merges on Henriette. Pretty solid merges on Dagger. Notable thing here is, of course, there is no Dancer, which for this kind of team is not necessary, but it's definitely nice to have. I'm not entirely sure why they have Ashe all the way over there, but who knows? They're just getting set up here. Getting ready to hit end turn. They don't have Bolt Tower or anything here, so it's just getting set up for positioning sake. They have Ruse down, which honestly is not really too relevant, except for the fact that
I take my stand
I guess maybe in some world where Selith can proc his special, that would be relevant. But here, thanks to Henriette's Tome, he's able to survive Bramlon by a whopping 1 HP. Totally not rigged. I highly doubt they calc that out, but if they did, props to them. That would be a very gutsy play to make, but you know, if it works, it works. Highly doubt they calced it out though. And unfortunately, you don't get a follow-up dance to pick up the kill on Henriette, so their healing tower just brings them back up to 51 HP, and well, the Bramlon's gone now, and they're going to hit the Ruse, which isn't too relevant again, because units that already have their specials ready probably aren't re-proccing their specials anyways. Legendary Lyn being green, unfortunately, is not going to be able to pick up the kill here, and so they're just going to pick up the 1-round KO. And Not is, of course, not going to do very much against Brave Edelgard, but she actually does more than 0 damage. So that's an achievement, I guess. And here's just going to be pretty straightforward win at this point because it's Sothis and Nils. What are they ever going to do? I guess they had Ashe on the right side to just pick up the ether structure, and that would make sense. But yeah, Sothis' Miracle is not going to do anything except stall time, which is not really relevant at all. At least you get to do a whopping 4 times 2, so much damage. Also, I just noticed that notification came up. That means I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb. Whoopsie daisies. Let's just hope nothing relevant shows up all of a sudden. Yeah, hopefully the status bar thing might have to do something with the issue that was mentioned in the announcements board. We don't in particular have that status bar issue, but it might be something related to it. Who knows? Just in case we turned on Do Not Disturb there. So here we are. Pretty chill week, of course. Towards the end here, that's where we lost our 28 lift, but that's more than enough, of course, to get the highest defense tier, which is also infantry dragonflowers this week, so that's cool. Can never have too many of those, but yeah, top 20k like usual when we're not in vaults. Summoner duels, I played a few more matches, but yeah, Next rotation is going to go on. Ranked duels are going to happen starting on the 20th. So, yeah, we're not going to be trying too hard on that. I know there's going to be rewards and stuff based on the tier you get, but we just cannot be bothered. Looks like we're just outside of top 1k right now, which is unfortunate. It would be pretty difficult for us to top this score, just because our score range is like 750 to 764. And because of that, you just see a lot of 750s and 752s that are just basically run killers when you're trying to go for a higher score than this. So yeah, we're not going to bother. It's just another week where we're just outside of top 1k, which is unfortunate, but what are you going to do about it? Anyways, we'll be back when the results drop in. Alright, here we go. Just the usual. And good amount of dragon flowers for infantry. At least we have both of these units, that's cool. Duo dagger is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And it's still wind season, so I do expect to see legendary Sigurd shenanigans still. That's not not the right mode. Here we go. Down to interval 18 feels bad, man. Definitely should be able to get back up to interval 19 at least, but that's unfortunate. And getting back up to tier 21 shouldn't be too difficult, I would imagine. Just outside top 1k, but again, that's pretty much expected nowadays unless I fish super hard. So that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ethan Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye.